What's up, guys? In this episode, I want to talk to you about one of the most powerful ways to go far in triathlon and in life. And honestly, it's one that I'm not great at, but I was reminded of it in the last 2 days of the Hawaii from Home Triathlon. So just to set the stage, some of you know that in the first week of October, I completed the Hawaii from Home Triathlon, which is a virtual Ironman distance event that you could do in a given day or over the course of a given week. And since I had only been training for a half Ironman and I wasn't really prepared to do that all in one day, I broke that down into smaller workouts over a full week. And the way that it worked is, I did a bike, a run, a swim, bike, run, swim, Monday through Friday. And then when it came to Saturday and Sunday, I had 75 miles left on the bike and I had 16 miles that I had to run. So how was I going to do that? So what I decided to do is I decided to break it down and do around maybe 40 or 50 miles on Saturday with a 7 or 8 mile run, depending on how I was feeling, and then do 25 or 35 miles or whatever was left on Sunday with the remaining 7 or 8 mile run. So seems manageable, right? That was the game plan. And so I woke up super early on Saturday morning, probably around 5:30, got on the bike around 6, and I biked on one of my favorite trails. And as I was about 20 to 25 miles into my bike ride, I turned around and I was heading back into the direction of my house. And I zoomed by this guy that seemed very familiar. And when I thought about it, I was like, wait, I think that's my coworker. I think that's Ron. And so what I ended up doing is I ended up turning around and trying to catch up and see if this biker was actually my coworker. And I zoomed up and wasn't sure. I was right behind him. And then I just pull up next to him. I'm like, hey, is that you? He's like, hey, Mario, what's up? So it was kind of funny running into him unexpectedly. But I ended up just biking in the opposite direction of my house with him for another 10 miles or so. And it's one of those things where I was actually going, even though it was a race, I was trying to complete it relatively quickly so I could get back and spend the rest of the day with my daughter and with my wife. But when you're biking with somebody else, especially somebody else that you enjoy, the miles just fly by. And, I had a good time with Ron, and we were just laughing and having a good time. So the miles really flew by. And I kind of was thinking in the back of my head, should I just turn around and zoom back, or should I, kind of keep going with him at a slightly slower pace? But I ended up deciding to just bike with him. And it made the whole process a lot more enjoyable. Eventually, we turned around and we broke apart. But I biked with him. Out of the 3 hours and 20 minutes, probably an hour and a half was with him. And so then after that bike ride, I was feeling pretty good, and I adjusted or got off my bike, put on my running shoes, and I went out on my run. And I was feeling great at the beginning of my run. I was a couple miles into it, and then I actually ran into another person that I know. I ran into a friend named Colin, who I've actually completed a 25K trail run with him, and we will go on longer runs on the weekends. And so he saw that I was running, and he actually turned in the opposite direction that he was going, and he kept running with me, which was kind of cool. And so it was, again, kind of that same experience. When you're running with somebody else, the miles really start to fly by. And so then ran with him for maybe a mile or two. And then all of a sudden, my happy moment and feeling really good just completely ended. And I almost bonked, which is a term that triathletes use when basically your nutrition just goes to crap, and you basically just feel depleted of energy completely. So I tried to take a gel, tried to drink some water, but luckily we were maybe 2 minutes away from Colin's house, and he's like, hey, let's like go over to my house. You can chill for a little bit and I'll get you something to drink. And so with Colin's help, was able to kind of jog over there slowly. He ran inside, got me a sparkling water, a Crystal Light, and I just chugged it in like less than 30 seconds. And spent a few minutes with him, kind of hanging out, relaxing, and then I felt a lot better and I went on the rest of my way. And that was maybe 3 to 4 miles into that run. But because of that little break and that help and that jolt of energy, I was able to run another 3.5 miles to get my mileage to about 53 miles on the bike and 7 on the run. So again, like running with him kind of gave me a little bit more of an energy boost, and he honestly saved me by helping provide that the extra drink and the Crystal Light. So then Sunday rolled around, and I had about 24 miles left to do on the bike and 9 miles on the run. And after doing the 53 and 7 on Saturday, my legs were a little heavy. But I knew I could do it, but I knew that I would need a little bit of help. And so what I decided to do is I talked to Emily, and we decided that in the last mile or so, I would come home and we would finish it together as a family. So Emily could be on the bike, and Ellie, our 6-month-old daughter, would be in the stroller, and I could push her. And so I got through the 24 miles on the bike, get off on the run, and I went at a really slow pace. But once I got to that last mile, kind of came home, went in the garage, got all of my stuff together, got the stroller, got the baby loaded up, and went off on my way. And it was amazing the difference that I felt when I was doing that with my family versus just doing that the previous miles by myself. So why am I telling you all of this? So the stories of biking with Ron, running with Colin, and then finishing out with Emily and Ellie, it reminds me of this concept of don't go it alone when you're going after your big goals. A lot of times we come up with a goal and we instantly think about how am I going to accomplish this, or what do I need to do to accomplish this? And I think sometimes a better question to ask is, who can help me accomplish this? And really that's my message for you today is when you're thinking about the goals, if that's a triathlon, if that's something in work, if that's something in your life, make a list of those goals. And before you think about how you're going to do it or what you need to do to accomplish that, I want you to make a list of who can help you accomplish that and reach out to them. And just remember, don't go it alone. So I hope that served you. Subscribe now for more episodes. I'm going to try and be more consistent with these. And I'll talk to you guys later.